Am I the butthole for not telling him dinner is ready? My husband has an obsession with TikTok. He's 40, by the way, not 14. He takes his phone to the bathroom and will spend ages just mindlessly scrolling. We have 2 young kids and I think he just does it for some peace. But it means I'm constantly having to go and knock on the door. Are you okay? Are you going to be long? Will you come and help with the tiny humans? It's AITA. I was making a full roast dinner and saw him heading off upstairs. I said it'll be ready in 20 minutes, don't be long. Set the table, finished cooking, plated up, got the kids to the table and just thought I'm not going to seek him, this is ridiculous. I 100% wanted to see how long it would take him to come out on his own. 2 hours and 10 minutes. In that time we had finished the meal, I had cleaned the kitchen and the floor, done the dishes and done a load of laundry, and the kids were halfway through a film. He came down and yelled at me that I should have told him the meal was ready. I told him I'm not his mother and it's not my job to go and seek him. He stormed out saying he's not eating his meal now as roast dinners are rubbish heated in the microwave and this is all my fault and yada. Not the butthole. Are you sure he's not 14? Storming out because you didn't tell him the dinner you made was ready after you told him it would be 20 minutes is something a 14-yo would do. A 40-yo should apologize for taking so long and thank you for making dinner, feeding his kids and cleaning up. You two need to have a long talk about this. To be fair, a reasonable 40-year wouldn't likely spend 2.5 hours ensconced in a toilet, digging with their phone while their family went about their day, either. I don't get enough time with my family, no matter how much time I get with my family, and I get a lot of time with my family. I like the occasional break for an hour-long nap where I may send the wife off to the store with the boys to get a bit of me time, but I'm not really happy unless I'm generally immersed in my family's activities. I also don't mind sending the wife off to a nap or taking the boys out for a break for her. It's about sanity and balance. But deliberately separating myself for hours so I can play on the internet? That's just repulsive to me. Kids need a model for healthy behavior. Jamming your nose into your phone for hours on end isn't a good example to set for them. Neither is locking yourself away, missing a family meal to do it, or yelling at your spouse for your lack of self-control. Depression most likely. Avoidance of dealing with the stresses and anxieties of life, the things that are making him miserable and that he won't deal with. Not saying that's his family, by the way, but any time spent in the real world could lead him there. Definitely one for counseling to work through, in my opinion. Except mistaking mental illness for poor self-discipline does much more harm to the person than the other way around. Edit. As someone else in the reply said, counseling will do good regardless of whether original poster's husband is lazy or has a mental illness preventing him from meeting his responsibilities, and honestly, yeah, being the butthole in this situation. If he has a mental illness, counseling/therapy is exactly what he needs. If it's due to laziness, then a counselor could help him recognize his patterns of unhealthy behavior and help him change that. Either way, as a person with multiple mental illnesses, some of which are very stigmatized, and as a psychology student, I do not feel that assumptions about character should be made before considering alternative explanations. This is an example of what is often known as the fundamental attribution error, or the human tendency to assume other people's behaviors are a reflection of their character, not due to the situation/context of the behavior. But mistaking poor self-discipline for mental illness doesn't do any good for the people around that person. Either way, Reddit doesn't have enough to go off of, so it's good for original poster to be mindful of both possibilities. Poor self-discipline is rooted in the mind. Either you can overcome it unassisted, aka grow out of the phase, or you may be too deep to do so unaided. Since we only have original poster's side to work from, suggesting the advice of a professional rather than a bunch of randos on the internet isn't the worst suggestion. If they don't need the help of a professional to overcome their personal hang-ups, the professional should be able to recognize this and set them on a good path. If they do need the help of a professional, trying to muck through on their own while constantly being held accountable for their own shortcomings can further the damage and make overcoming the obstacle in question more or less insurmountable. Some people need a good kick in the pants, yes, but others are too overwhelmed by kicks from themselves or others to stand on their own. Some people need a good kick in the pants, yes, but others are too overwhelmed by kicks from themselves or others to stand on their own. It's real hard to stand on your own when you're using both feet to kick yourself. Wrong time to mention this man, although I do agree that most people just use depression as an excuse to avoid saying shirking responsibility. Neither of you have the knowledge or the means to study someone's mental state through a person's Reddit post, especially if it wasn't even written by the person you're trying to diagnose. The other guy is an idiot who just felt like throwing knowledge around. We get it, depression is a thing, and we should focus on it, but let the professionals diagnose you, not becoming armchair psychologists yourselves. In the words of Pete Davidson, mental illness isn't an excuse to act like a jackass. Even as a 19-year-old babysitter, I learned quickly that small children in the house means you never get to pee in peace. It's not rocketed science. It's common decency. I'm ADHD, and one of the things that we deal with is called time blindness. I really don't notice an hour go by when I'm in the tub, and sometimes I'll look up at the time and realize it's been 2 hours and I'm like, F. On the flip side, I could be working for 15 minutes and think it's been 30. I think it'll take me 10 minutes to get somewhere, when it's actually 5 to get into the actual store and everything. Not saying this is what original poster's husband is dealing with, but some developmental disorders/mental illness do cause time blindness. It's personally useful if I have to sit and wait for something, because I don't notice how long it's been, but I'm also just a patient person. Some people are impatient but have time blindness, so that sucks. Screen addiction. Same as alcoholism or gambling addiction. That's the vibes I'm getting about original poster's husband. Just a totally out of control addiction he's not even close to admitting he has. I say as I very self-aware have just spent 3 hours scrolling Reddit wasting my Sunday, but at least I don't have kids to look after. Right, and that is the key difference. You are not shirking child-rearing responsibilities to scroll. My ex used to do this. Turns out he was shaving his balls and sexting men, sigh. The yelling really bothers me, especially because the kids were only a couple rooms away. It's scary and confusing to hear your parents yell at each other, and it breeds a home environment based on fear, not understanding. I am 14 and I am deeply offended by this. My parents would kill me if I did something like this. Not the butthole, and shame on your husband. Edit, an award for this. Thanks, kind stranger. Sorry. New theory, 2 7-year-olds standing one on top of the other wearing a long coat. I have IBS and I don't even spend 2.5 hours in the bathroom. He was doing something other than sitting on the toilet. Also, a roast is best when freshly cooked, but if you either reheat it in the oven or on a large wide pan with lots of real butter, it can be just as good or even better. Not saying you should do this, but he should. I think you aren't giving 14-year-olds enough credit. Original poster replies. Thank you all. This has been going on for the last 6 to 7 weeks. Before then he was fully engaged as a spouse and as a father. Now he's acting like a sullen teenager. We will talk tonight when he comes back from wherever he stormed off to try and get to the bottom of what's going on. The people who said I have 3 kids right now are 100% correct. Please give us an update. Yeah, this feels like more than TikTok. Not the butthole, but did something happen recently, at work for example, or medical? A big change in personality like this doesn't seem normal. It sounds like addiction, specifically to TikTok. Addiction would explain the personality changes, ducking responsibility, acting sullen when asked to stop, etc. I know people scoff at social media addiction, but unfortunately it's becoming a huge problem. This would be my question too. It could easily be a case of life is hard and I want to check out now, but it could also be an indication of something bigger. Pandemic burnout maybe. I'm finding that a lot of people I know are having some serious personality changes lately. Not that it's an excuse. Got to say, kind of sounds like cheating. Texting or FaceTiming someone else in the bathroom, suddenly unengaged and angry with you for no reason. It's not always TikTok they're hiding. I hated to say it because that is often a knee-jerk response to these stories, but I agree with you. These are some of the top signs of an affair. Plus, original poster, there's no way he's sitting on the throne for that long, The circulation would be cut off in his legs in less than half an hour. 2.5 hours is insane. So he's sitting somewhere else while in there. Perhaps on the floor or the edge of the tub, or a chair if there's one in there. At best, that's avoidance. At worst, he's doing something nefarious. Yeah, I want to believe it's just TikTok, but if he was a perfectly normal husband and father 6 weeks ago, this feels like something more serious than TikTok. There are lots of women who do TikTok lives where you can interact with them and send them paid for emojis. Maybe he has found some cam girls? This would concern me. Not the butthole, but I'd check what accounts he's following on there. I'm surprised this isn't higher up. I'm sure there are loads of stuff on TikTok, but it seems like a lot of teenagers post on there. Why is a 40-year-old obsessed with TikTok? I'd want to know what accounts he's looking at too. Kind of sounds like something more is going on than just TikTok. Sounds like OnlyFans. Not the butthole. We have 2 young kids. No, you have 2 young kids and 1 old one. There's only 1 adult in this house. The day I realized this was the day I kicked him out. My whole life was instantly easier and happier. And like a child, he's lashing out rather than take responsibility for his crafty behavior. Not the butthole. Your husband's behavior screams social media addiction, specifically TikTok. If he's not listening to you, ducking out on parental responsibilities and losing track of 2 hours of time, then it may be worth really sitting him down and discussing this. Agreed. It's time for a serious talk about how detrimental and unhealthy this is becoming, and that he needs to seek help. Not the butthole. Stop chasing after him to make sure he gets his dinner when it is ready. You told him it would be ready in 20 minutes. He spent 130 minutes in the bathroom having fun with himself. Good for you for standing up for yourself. 130 minutes in the bathroom having fun with himself. SN words. First 100,000%, not the butthole. So, mark me if I didn't get something. You have 2 kids. That you didn't make on your own, so they're his too. The cooking is all yours. The cleaning all yours. Childcare, doing all the above, still all yours. I assume he's not doing house chores either. But you have to feed him. Which you do. And you have to be sure he's fed by chasing him through the house. And you have to control his screen time. Also, he doesn't seem to give an F about your feelings or provide emotional support. So please, can you tell me, besides a second salary to the house, I hope, why is your life with him better than without him? Because without, at least you would have fewer chores to do. That dude is jacking off. TikTok has porn. That dude is jacking off. Not the butthole. That was inconsiderate of him. For 2 hours? If he were just masturbating, he would have been done faster and been in a better mood when he was done. My first thought as well. Original poster, have you ever been in the same room as him while he's on TikTok? Even just glancing at his For You page will tell you a lot about what he is interacting with on there. Started 6 to 7 weeks ago out of nowhere. Original poster doesn't indicate any specific trigger that could have set off the social media addiction, going and retreating somewhere to scroll on his phone rather than doing it in the open. He's either watching porn/cam/OnlyFans/etc., or outright cheating. It's pretty sad that the best case scenario is that he's so immature that he'll literally hide from his family to watch videos on the crapper for hours. I was surprised it took me this long to see this response. That was my first thought. He's in the bathroom texting someone else, and I would wager he stormed out of the house to go to that person's house. Original poster needs to dig deeper. I suspect she will find something shady going down. Not the butthole. He was on a device that tells you the time and comes equipped with an alarm, for goodness sake. This may have been a bit passive-aggressive, but it sounds like you're understandably at the end of your rope. The two of you need to have a serious discussion about how his obsession is impacting your family. It wasn't passive-aggressive at all. She didn't call him to punish him, she didn't call him because she had had it being his maid/housekeeper. Not the butthole you said 20 minutes he chose not to eat with you. Not the butthole 2.5 hours? Your husband is not spouse or even a child, but basically a worthless toilet gargoyle. Let him starve. Not the butthole. TikTok is not the issue. The issue is he spent over 2 hours hiding from his family to play on his phone. He needs to step up. Not the butthole. I like TikTok too, but I've never spent hours on it. Didn't he feel hungry? For God's sake, didn't his legs fall asleep sitting on the toilet that long? When you're an adult/parent with responsibilities, you need to be more focused. This is bigger than just missing dinner. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.